On December 7th, 1941, it was the last day of that era when the world's map was about to change forever. On the base of U.S. Navy in Pearl Harbor, a catastrophe was about to unfold that no one could have anticipated. In the midst of the battleship, an African-American mess attendant named Doris Miller was serving breakfast to the New York officers, and he was assigned to work on the laundry collection when suddenly, after his duties, exactly at 7:57 in the morning on December 7th, the sound of an air raid siren pierced the air. A siren that no sailor wanted to hear in their service, and suddenly, in an unprecedented manner, the entire Pearl Harbor was as if doomsday had struck. Japanese bomber aircraft filled the sky, launching a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base, an attack that would forever change the course of history. This attack, known as the Pearl Harbor Attack, was directed by Japan against the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, and today we will explore why Japan undertook such a significant act of aggression against a nation like America. Why was an African-American mess attendant named Doris Miller awarded the highest honor in America, and why did America decide to launch a nuclear attack on Japan? Welcome back, viewers, to our intriguing story, which begins in 1941 when America had committed its all to save China in World War II. Yes, the same China that openly talks to America in 2023. So as we know, 3 years had passed since the start of World War II, where on one side were Germany and Italy, and on the other were Britain, the Netherlands, and France. America had no part in this war, as it wanted to remain entirely neutral due to the losses suffered in World War I. However, there was one country constantly challenging America, and that was Japan. Due to a shortage of natural resources, Japan was aggressively expanding into neighboring countries to fulfill its demands. Korea, Taiwan, and China's large territories had already been claimed by Japan. Japan's focus was also on the Philippines, Malaysia, and the Indonesia near the Pacific Ocean. However, the issue was that Malaysia was a British colony, Indonesia belonged to the Dutch, and the Philippines were an American colony. Occupying these territories posed challenges for Japan. Behind Japan was Hitler's influence, as he was an enemy of Britain and America. Observing Japan's actions, in July 1941, America stopped supplying oil to Japan, knowing that 80% of Japan's oil came from American imports. America set a condition for Japan that it had to withdraw from China before receiving oil. This decision placed Japan in a difficult position. If Japan withdrew from China, it would appear weak in the eyes of the world despite its alliance with Hitler. On the other hand, Japan was running out of oil reserves. Japan made the difficult decision not to withdraw from China and formulated a plan to capture Indonesia for its oil needs. But this plan was not easy. Japan realized that to reach Indonesia, it needed to take the Philippines first, which was an American colony. Japan foresaw that attacking the Philippines would result in a counterattack on its naval base at Pearl Harbor. Despite its dwindling oil reserves, Japan was ready for the attack on Pearl Harbor. It began preparing its fleet, including 2 battleships, 39 submarines, 30 destroyers, and a total of 414 bomber aircraft. These aircraft were transported to Pearl Harbor through the deployment of 6 aircraft carriers. On the other hand, if we estimate the American forces at Pearl Harbor, they had 8 battleships, 59 anti-aircraft ships, 4 submarines, and 390 aircraft. Looking at these numbers, it's clear that America had sufficient force to repel Japan's attack. However, it was necessary for them to have information about this attack beforehand. But Japan wanted to keep this attack secret in every possible way. Therefore, the Japanese commanders decided that they would stay away from any kind of wireless communication before the attack. The force leaving Japan had a distance of almost 8,000 kilometers to cover, and now Pearl Harbor was only 370 kilometers away. This was the point from where the aircraft would take off for the attack. This was the largest attack of World War II, in which America was not yet involved. On the morning of December 7, 1941, at 7:50, Japanese aircraft launched a sudden attack on Pearl Harbor in 2 separate groups. The Americans, who were completely unaware of this attack, were shocked as if doomsday had come. The first group of Japanese aircraft had rained down bombs, attacking Pearl Harbor for 45 minutes, and then they retreated. At first, it seemed like the attack was over, but 10 minutes later, the second group of bomber aircraft arrived and heavily bombarded the U.S. naval base, even hitting the dry docks. This attack continued for 1 hour and 15 minutes, during which Japan's flank is heavy in every way. More than 250 planes, 8 battleships, and 300 planes were destroyed, turning the land into fire and the sky into dark clouds. Meanwhile, there was an African-American cook, Doris Miller, on an American battleship, whom we'll mention in the video starting from now. It was during the laundry collection when Doris heard a siren. Hearing this terrifying siren until he came out, a Japanese torpedo was launched at their ship, hitting captain and many officers, injuring them. Doris shifted the wounded alone to a safe place and then went to the anti-aircraft machine gun, where he himself turned the Japanese aircraft upside down. Without any training, Doris had shot down 6 Japanese aircraft. Meanwhile, in this attack, Japan lost a total of 29 aircraft. Doris Miller was the first African American, who was later given a Navy Cross. This award is the highest of the U.S. Navy and the second highest award in the United States, after the Medal of Honor. After an hour and 15 minutes of the attack, the Japanese aircraft returned, but now they had pushed America into World War II as well, the same America that was not yet involved in this attack. The next day after the attack on Pearl Harbor, America decided to teach Japan a lesson and declared an open war against them. For the next 3 months, America was busy bringing back its naval base. Fortunately, many ships were sunk in shallow waters, which were suitable for repair. After 4 months, America attacked Japan in the same way they did at Pearl Harbor. Yes, in April 1942, America dropped bombs on Japan's capital, Tokyo. This was America's first attack in World War II, but after that, America didn't stop. For the next 4 years, a fierce battle continued between Japan and America, in which America's hands was heavy. Japan had become very weak in this war, but in no way was it accepting defeat. Japan was not surrendering in front of America. In the end, in August 1945, America used its last card against Japan. On August 6, 1945, at 8 in the morning, a bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan City, from a Boeing B-29 Superfortress aircraft. The bomb, named Little Boy, weighed 4,400 kilograms. It fell over Hiroshima, and almost 43 seconds later, a powerful explosion occurred, turning everything white. After that, a fireball went from the ground to the sky, which raised the temperature of the ground to 5,000 degrees. This was the first nuclear attack in history, in which in just a blink of an eye, more than 80% of the buildings in Hiroshima were turned into piles of rubble. The Japanese military leaders had their feet buried under the ground, and after 3 days, on August 9th, a second nuclear bomb was also dropped on Japan's city Nagasaki. This bomb was called the Mark III, with the codename Fat Man. Immediately after the bomb, the entire city was wiped out with cleanliness. These were the only 2 nuclear bombs used on humans, the first and last. Approximately 260,000 local people died in the attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Just a week after this attack, Japan surrendered in front of America, and with it, World War II reached its end. I hope you will also like and share this video of enlightened vision. Thank you very much for your love-filled comments. See you in the next amazing video.